like, it, because I would probably, like, my personality wouldn't be different, like, I would still be me, but at the same time, if you grow up cisgendered, it's just a completely different way of growing up, so I often wonder, like, what it's like to be cis and to grow up cis, and, specifically what it's like to grow up as a cisgendered male, because I know there's a lot of stereotyping with, like, men grow up, like, playing, like, rough and tumble games and playing sports and things like that, but sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second, but at the same time, like, I'll hear from a lot of guys, like, cisgender guys, that, you know, they didn't really have a completely stereotypical male upbringing, like, they didn't necessarily have, like, a dad that tossed around a football with them, and they didn't necessarily have, like, peers that they would, like, wrestle in the mud with and stuff like that, so I just kind of wonder, how my childhood would have been different, and how I would be different today, like, maybe I would have turned out less masculine than I am, I guess less, like, I keep going back to stereotypes, but maybe I would have been less stereotypically masculine, because maybe I've tried over the years to, like, overcompensate for, like, not being physically male, like, I've tried to overcompensate for that. I think a lot of transgender people do that, like, if you're M to F, you'll try really hard to be girly, and, like, meet all the stereotypes. So I often wonder, like, would I have fit even fewer stereotypes? Would I have, like, and then the other thing is, I probably wouldn't think so much about this, you know, I wouldn't, like, wonder so much about, like, everything I do, like, how male is this, and, like, is it normal for a guy to do X and Y, and then I see guys that, like, they do stuff that's not necessarily the most masculine thing and the macho thing in the world to do, but, like, they don't think twice about it, so I just, like, I wonder, what it would have been like to grow up and not have to process all this, and not have to think about all this, and, like I said, you have, like, I've had to constantly examine myself and think of, like, what kind of person am I, what kind of guy am I, like, do I, sorry, excuse me, would I be perceived, slightly, would I have been perceived, like, how would I be, perceived if I, wait, what was I gonna say, how would I be perceived if I did X, or if I did X, Y, and Z, like, how would people see me, would they think twice about, like, would people question, that I'm, like, would people question my masculinity, just because, I guess this is what I'm getting at, would people question, like, if anything I didn't fit a male stereotype, would society question my gender identity just because they know that I wasn't born male? And it's like, well, guys don't have to, like, act like stereotypical guys, because it's almost like they don't have to prove to society that they're male, but if you're trans, it's almost like you need to fit stereotypes in order to be perceived as your, I guess, correct gender, and in order to almost, like, convince people and for them to not question because they'll be like, oh, well, that's kind of a girly thing to do, like, are you really male? But at the same time, if you were cisgendered, people wouldn't really question that, because you were born male, and it's like, you're born male, you're a guy, so whatever you do, like, guys can joke around and say, oh, you're such a wimp, or you're such a girl, or like, you're so gay, or whatever, but like, they're still perceived by society as male. And I think a lot of this is about the fact that so many cisgendered people find it so difficult most of the time to understand what it's like to be trans. I think transgendered people also have difficulty understanding what it's like to be cisgendered. Like, what would it be like to have been born in the right body, and what would it be like to have the complete, like, if you're F to M, what would it be like if I was completely male? How does that feel? Like, how does it feel to feel like you are in the right body? Just like a lot of cisgender people don't understand, like, how do you feel like you're in the wrong body? You know, a lot of cisgender people can't comprehend that. So, I hope this video didn't just seem like a bunch of rambling on and on. I figured I'd talk a bit about that stuff, because people talk a lot about, like, I grew up, I knew from a young age, blah, 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 I felt uncomfortable during puberty, and, I've always felt like I was in the wrong body, and people talk a lot about what that's like, but people don't really talk about this kind of more internal stuff that goes on, and what it's like internally, and what it's like, in the ways that you relate to society. So, before this video gets too long, that's about all I have. Hopefully I made some sense, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.